Welcome to a Delco Nerd Network podcast. I am your host, Anthony Ragucci, and here with a few friends in the Delaware County area. We get in the basement to talk about a certain we talk about a certain topic. Today's topic is, well, this is the one where we don't have a topic. We've done podcasts like this before, but we're doing it again. Not necessarily like we have done it before, but, you know.
Yeah, we did like our mini topic ones. This
casual,
is probably a little bit more
shoot
casual.
the shit. We're going to take some questions from our Discord. Before I go on, Triple Threat, Chris Trio, how you doing?
Gooch, how are you?
Doing well. I had some amnesia.
Yeah, I know. He lost. He took the amnesia potion before we started.
I couldn't
and it
remember
only affected the
intro.
podcast intro.
It's not like, has it been a while since?
No, it's been a week. Didn't you do it last week with Tim?
Right, but that's the hot take intro. It's a
yeah,
different intro.
I guess you're right.
It's a different rhythm.
It is. I don't know.
Jesus.
Maybe we haven't done a pod. It might have been like almost over 2 months now, or close to 2
Yeah.
months. Because we probably did it at the beginning of
Game Awards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that would have been like early December, and then now we're over a month out from our last main podcast.
Yeah, so it has been a minute. So yeah, we kind of decided that like last few months have been like pretty hot with like podcasts. We did a shit ton of podcasts in December, you know, for those who haven't watched or didn't get to the backlog just yet. You know, we have the at launch review for the PS5, Xbox Series X, Demon Souls, Miles Morales, Game Awards. We had a Beyond County Lines with a streamer, Aurora Peachy, and the singer from Death Stranding, BB's theme, Jenny Plant. What else?
I think you hit all the...
Wonder Woman.
Oh, duh. Forgot about Wonder Woman.
Mandalorian.
Fuck, okay.
What did we do with Ian that same day? Oh, the Xbox Series
That was
X
the Series
review.
X review, and then I came for the Mando review.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's it. But we did a lot in December.
For sure.
And we had a few topic ideas, or we were shooting them around, and we're like, you know what? We weren't really feeling them, so we're just like, you know what? Let's, in celebration of kind of like launching the Discord, which you can join if you go to delconerdnetwork.com. There should be a button that says join our community. You can hit it.
Bing.
Or it's going to be in the description of like every podcast that comes out.
You're down here.
From Cyberpunk on. You can message us. I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
Or if you know me personally.
And also in our description on all of our pages, we have our flow page, which does have a link.
Right, it's in there
as well.
So you can get access to Discord a bunch of ways, and
Yeah.
if you don't, you can just message us and I can send.
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah. But again, website. It's like the first big banner button like on the page. Yeah. So we kind of were like, hey, why don't we do something like integrating the Discord? So we're gonna take some questions that was like a form link was exclusively sent to the Discord. Thanks to the people who asked some questions.
Always appreciate it.
We got a few. We're not just going to be doing that. We're going to be like, again,
shoot the
shit, and then like every so often we'll answer a question. But I didn't want to. I don't want to start with a question. So I know you've been playing, and I maybe. Do you want to talk about Hitman a little bit? Because I don't really.
I could, yes. I mean,
we're gonna review it.
Yeah, I will definitely be reviewing it.
How have you been liking Hitman?
So far, it's more Hitman, which is amazing. I don't mean that to sound like it's like it's more Hitman. Like mechanically, that game is so sound that like it really didn't need many updates in that way. But location-wise, so far, I think it's some of the coolest locations that we've gotten out of this trilogy of Hitman games. There's a ton of replayability. It was funny because when I first started playing these games, I wasn't as big on them, to be honest, or these newer ones, because they were a little bit, there's a story to them, but the focus is being an assassin and kind of like just taking on these missions in different ways. And I was kind of a little disappointed in that, but the more I played it, and especially the first one really kind of locked me in, I just think they do something really special with those games and just interesting, and they have the formula down and they stick with it, which I appreciate. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, all that good stuff. So mechanically wise, like I said, there's no really new upgrades, but overall it's a lot of fun. I mean, Agent 47's one of the first memories I have in video games, for sure. Like honestly, for me, like I played Hitman, hit Blood Money when I was really young. That was really big for me. I love those kind of sneak around assassins game. This is almost like, I mean, it's Dishonored-ish in the way of there were so many different ways you could approach all those different levels, and there was a good amount of replayability, but I think there's even more when it comes from Hitman, just in the way of you kind of unlock these new pathways now, which I thought was actually a really interesting mechanic that they put in this one. Now it's, if you play the thing once and you unlock certain doors, they will always be unlocked when you go back in. So you kind of have shortcuts now and things like that.
Oh, that's cool.
When you go back in to maybe to circumvent some things that are more annoying. But yeah, man, overall very cool. If you're a fan of Hitman, if you're a fan of stealth games, stealth action, and I mean, you don't even have to be stealthy at that. You can go in and fucking lay waste to everyone. But yeah, I would highly recommend it. I mean, they're probably going to put out a thing with all three at some point because I mean, it's basically like...
Well, don't they have it? Can't you buy 3? And
I think you can, yeah.
1 and 2's levels.
And they're all... It is nice because they're just all on the same thing. And like you can go through, start from the first location all the way down to the third, or to the third game's locations. And it's very cool. And it's funny because I remember when they first did the first one, it was episodic. As in, you only do one at a time.
Yeah, that was controversial.
But then the second one... They were like, all right, all at once. And then same with this third one, which I appreciated. But like, one thing I got to say about this launch, man, and I just feel like after this year of Cyberpunk and just other games that we get where we feel like there's just this long release cycle, thank you for they told us about it like the beginning of last year. Completely forgot about it. They're like, oh, by the way, here's our launch trailer. It comes out in 2 weeks. I'm like, that's amazing. And now I'm playing the fucking game. Like,
right.
Please learn from, like, unless your game's really kind of close to ready, you're only shooting yourself in the foot the earlier you announce it, in my opinion. I really feel like
we've had this debate on like Xbox before and like off the podcast. I'm not actually sure if we've ever talked about this, but I think there is some good that comes out of like hyping your game up a little earlier, like than it's when it's coming out. For example, I think Elder Scrolls drumming hype up for a year plus is a good thing.
No,
look at Fallout 4's release cadence window, whatever you want to call it. E3 to that fall. Like, I feel like we were hype on it, but we barely had time to get real hype on it.
Yeah, but I guess yeah.
I feel like some games really like they do benefit from like a year at least, maybe a year and a half of just kind of like building hype and like releasing a little bit of information. Is the way Cyberpunk did it necessarily the best thing ever? Fuck no. Is the way Kingdom Hearts 3 the way they did that good? No. Death Stranding, I would say yeah, because they never they didn't delay the game like 7 times.
Well, and one thing I will give to Death Stranding at least, like, and this is I actually think maybe a case where I like it. I think I'm a little bit more okay with it when they're just like, hey, we're working on this game. You're not gonna, but like, and that's like with the 007 game now going on at I/O. That's in very early stages with that Indiana Jones game that was just announced. So like, I don't mind them being like, we're working on it. But I guess if you're starting to show like gameplay trailers 3 years out from when this game's coming out, that's when I'm kind of like, guys, maybe because I feel like there's a bit of
Kingdom Hearts did that a lot.
You know what I mean? And like
some
I feel
of the
like
first footage we saw, wasn't just cinematic, but was gameplay.
Yeah.
So I get
so
what
like
you're
I
saying
think that can just cause. Because, the game will evolve. And, I mean, they always do have that disclaimer on it, usually of, like, this is pre-alpha, whatever, subject to change, all that stuff. But people aren't that reasonable. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, the human brains aren't. And they're like, well, this wasn't in the trailer and it didn't come in the game. It's like, well, yeah, you saw a game 3 years ago, and they've been working on it for that long.
And all games go through those iterations.
Absolutely.
It's kind of maybe something you might not realize, but, like, I guarantee you every game has like a nice chunky list of like things that were cut and maybe they talked about or they never showed and got cut early.
And even this year with like Cyberpunk, if they only showed us gameplay starting this year, and I mean I still think there would have been major issues with the earlier gen launches, but I don't know if people would necessarily be as harsh on it right now as they are in some cases. But, like, I don't know. Like, I know the crunch on that was pretty bad, too, apparently, which is, like, I guess...
Crunch on most AAA games is going to be pretty bad. But I think you look at Cyberpunk's, like, 48-minute gameplay trailer, and that is a tough one not to compare. It's like, okay, we have 48 minutes of gameplay.
When did that one come out?
2019 E3.
Was it really that? That was the first gameplay we got. Was in 2019.
I think so.
All right, well maybe I don't but
we had 2 trailers before. I mean that teaser trailer doesn't count.
And then they had that like exploring Night City shit going on.
We had like 2. We had that year was Keanu, so we had that trailer, and then the year before was that, and the one with that song goes, what? Yeah, I bet that really
I mean, I knew exactly what you were talking. I mean, we might get copyright strike
for that.
To be honest, they might pull down our Twitch stream.
Yeah, but that trailer, and then the next year, so that was 2018. Then the next year we got
2 years
gameplay.
out basically.
We didn't get the gameplay till after E3, but like that's when that gameplay was showed behind closed doors, and then they released it because they got so much positive feedback on it, so they released it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is good. I feel like both sides of the coin are good. Short windows like Hitman was, and then long windows like say Death Stranding. Like I think they both are good, and it's just kind of like my
problem, I guess, more was
Death
Stranding was like the reason I didn't think those were helping, I guess, was because I was just coming out of those confused
right.
and having no
but
idea.
I feel like that was the fun of it. Like
no, and I guess
you're getting these cinematic trailers, not even necessarily gameplay. We didn't get gameplay until maybe a year before, 8 months, and then we're like. Oh, okay, this is what this game is shaping up to be. It's not okay, it's still confusing as to like what's going on, but like I think that was part of the fun of that.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, I feel like only Kojima can do that in the way in the way of like people will still like he isn't, and I would say the same for certain directors and things like that of movies and I mean. Kojima is an auteur of video games for sure, in the same way that Tarantino is an auteur of the film. Like they have their special thing. People trust them a lot more with certain things. Even like a Scorsese. Like Scorsese walks into a movie studio and is like, "I want to make a movie." They don't know what it is. Like, okay, here's the money. What is it going to be? By the way, like that's not. Same with Kojima. I feel like Sony was like, "You're going to make a game." He's like, "Yeah, okay, here's the money." By the way, what are you gonna do? And not that I'm saying that they're disappointed like with what he did or anything like that.
Right.
But like they're just they have that creative freedom and also that what's the word? That trust, I guess, from their audience, especially that whatever, I'm probably gonna enjoy what I get out of this.
When I was talking to Jenny, I told her about how I don't know. She didn't say if she knew this or not, but I don't think she did. Like when Guillermo del Toro told Norman Reedus that Kojima was going to be calling him up for Silent Hills, and he told him doesn't
matter what he says, just say
right.
Yes,
Norman Reedus asked who is he, and then in Del Toro was like doesn't matter, like just say yes.
Yeah.
And Jenny was kind of like, yeah, like once I found out, like, I accepted the offer, but like once I like found out who was behind it, I was like, oh, this is like a big deal. And it's like, yeah, some of those game directors and film directors kind of have that
ambiance about them.
That reputation.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe not necessarily everything they make is good, but like
people trust them to give them the creative freedom over whichever they want, or for the most part. Yeah.
And what I'm kind of going back to Hitman. I'm really interested in Hitman 3, and I'm excited to do this review with you because of the Bond game they're making, which is going to be like. That is my bread and butter. Yeah. I've been saying they should do a Bond game for years and cast a new Bond for the game.
Exactly.
Let's have a video
Just have
game
it be
Bond.
a completely original story.
Right.
I want it. You know where I want it?
Where?
The 60s. I want it old tech. I want to use a fucking pen laser.
See, I couldn't disagree with you more.
Really? Like, I think that would be so fucking cool. Like, seeing all the old tech and, like, having it be this period piece.
See, I feel like a lot of Bond games, not that the Pierce Brosnan games were outdated, but, or, like, back in time. From Russia with Love was, like, in past.
Oh, my God. I forgot about that game.
Yeah.
I played that game. Now I just remembered it. Oh my god!
Yeah,
I remember like really some of those Bond games were good, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm not saying they're like Nightfire, Everything or Nothing, Agent Under Fire were the 3 games that I think I actually named 4. Whatever. Were the games I played when I was a kid. I don't think I played From Russia with Love. I just know about it.
Sure.
So that was after Everything or Nothing, and then there was like Blood Diamond, which I think is the only Daniel Craig one.
Interesting.
And I'm just looking for I want a cool story. I want to do sort of what Daniel Craig's run has been. I want to get let's get a cool intro. Let's get a cool song. Let's get a cool artist to do the intro. Let's just do Bond, but a video game. Let's care about it.
I don't necessarily need an open world in that one too.
No,
I would.
I think the way Hitman does it, that would be
work
great.
very, yeah.
And I know in between they have like some story stuff, and I'm like, that's all they need.
And
to do.
it's fun. I think they'd be much more story focused when it comes to Bond, obviously, but
I hope so.
Yeah, no, I think
hope
so. Like, I think
there's a good chance maybe they really do go more Hitman and like they don't focus on story, and I'd be like,
yeah. I don't think like the Hitman gameplay works very well for a Bond game, but I don't think necessarily having this open. I guess maybe like if you get a mission, go in and steal this whatever, and you got to figure out how to do it. And there's multiple. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. There's actually. I'd be very curious.
You know what blows my mind? You know who the villain is in Everything or Nothing?
No.
Willem Dafoe.
Is he? Yeah. Wait. Well, Everything or Nothing. That's not Tomorrow Never Dies. That's what's the one with the guy who's Asian?
Everything
but he
or
turns
Nothing
white?
is just a game. It's not a movie.
Oh, gotcha.
So, yeah, all of them are original.
Oh shit, I didn't know. Well, From Russia with Love, wasn't that a game? Was that a movie?
It's a movie.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But
I think I don't know if it's based off the movie. I have no idea. Probably. But yeah, like Agent Under Fire. Like besides Goldeneye, notice how I didn't mention Goldeneye. I didn't play Goldeneye.
I didn't really. That was kind of before our time.
Yeah, we were like very young when that game was popular.
I remember sparsely playing it like with my brothers on the Nintendo 64, but I don't really have like very clear memories of that game.
Right. But yeah, like even back then, like Pierce Brosnan, like I'm pretty sure did the voices for those games.
Yeah, he did.
And Willem Dafoe is the villain in Everything or Nothing. Like they were doing it back then with EA, and dude, think about what we can do now. Look at Kojima getting like these big actors. Like I'm sure you could peg an actor to be Bond in a game, and they'd be all about it.
It's weird because I think a lot of these movie execs don't realize how much money is truly there in video games sometimes, and like the people who own these properties, like even now the Star Wars EA deal is going up, so now we're seeing these new Star Wars game announced. Ubisoft is doing their own. They're doing an Indiana Jones game. Like, there's so much potential in these IPs that you don't necessarily need to do a video game version of the movie.
Right.
Just use that IP, use that world, and give me a fresh new story and do some cool things.
With Indy, fuck Harrison Ford. Don't even ask him to do it.
No, I don't think so.
Who cares?
I don't think
who cares about Harrison Ford?
You know who I actually would love to see? And this isn't, I don't think, out of the box.
What's his face from Rogue One or Solo?
Chris Pratt.
No way.
I will love him as
no way.
As Indy. Yeah, 1,000%.
I think he could do a good job. There's no way they're getting him.
Oh no, I would love. Damn.
It takes a Kojima
to get
Chris Pratt.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know necessarily. Like
Kojima, head of next thing.
Yeah, I wonder how they will do that.
What
they'll do, because I think they're gonna use his likeness.
No.
I think they are, man.
I hope they don't.
But that's Indy. He is Indy. Like, how do you not use that likeness? Because that's, I mean, what would you change Nathan Drake's face?
What do you mean?
Like, if someone else was cast as Nathan Drake, would you change his face in the video game?
No.
He would look the same.
Right.
So by that same logic for me, I would say Harrison Ford's, it doesn't necessarily need to be his voice, but his face is Indiana Jones. Like
good point.
That's what I mean. Like that's all. Like,
I think my big thing with it is just like I think Harrison Ford doesn't like doing this kind of shit and would phone it in. So I just kind of was like, you know what? I like all respect to Harrison Ford, but like I don't. When I listen to him do interviews about stuff, he just seems like he doesn't give a fuck about anything.
But that's what I love.
And he probably doesn't.
But he does such a good job.
Like that interview where he's like, "Who shot first?"
I don't care.
It's like,
But I think that's part of his.
Dude,
but I think that's like part of his character at this point. He's like,
though?
yeah, but I think because like he seems. It's not like what's his
I'm surprised.
what's his name in why am I forgetting? John McClane. Who plays him?
What?
John McClane. Who plays? Why can't I remember in fucking Die Hard?
Oh, Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis is the guy I see in interviews who acts the same way in interviews, but doesn't try to act when he's in movies. He phones it in. Whereas I think, like, Harrison Ford knows he's making a good paycheck, so he does the work and he does it well. And I think he was amazing. Even in, like, for Rise of Skywalker, for all I hated in that, he did not feel phoned in that, in my opinion, even for that little scene. And I don't think he, like, necessarily loves the thing. What'd you say?
It's a spoiler.
Spoiler. Sorry. If you haven't seen fucking Rise of Skywalker at this point. But, I don't know. I think if they presented him with a large sum of cash and we're like, this is going to make this much amount of money, I think he would do it.
I think you save a lot of money by getting an up-and-coming.
And I think that's definitely true, too. I think there's like
give someone else a shot. Let somebody become the video game indie. Like, I want to see the video game Bond.
I think they got to keep his face. Personally. I don't know. Because that is Indiana Jones to me. You know what I mean?
I mean, you got a good point.
That's the only thing.
Yeah, this is like just opinion at this point. Like, you're right for sure.
Exactly.
Why don't we go to our
shift
first
into a
Discord
question?
Let me just brush through. Maybe I can kind of. I'm gonna start with M. Spurrier, our friend of the show, Matt Spurrier. You may have seen him. He was on one podcast, Politics and Video Games, way back when.
Yeah, that was.
But he asked, "What is your favorite art style for games in 2020 and then of all time?" So, what is your favorite game? What is your favorite art style for a game in 2020? I will go first because I have.
Go for it.
So my favorite, this is not my game of the year, but Cyberpunk's art style is like my bread and butter. It really kind of goes with kind of like, I mean, I like synthwave and I like that sort of aesthetic, bright neon lights, Blade Runner-esque kind of vibe, and Cyberpunk really like goes into that for me. So it's not something I'm just like, oh, I like Cyberpunk themed games. It's like, no, I kind of like everything about that, the fashion, like the you know, the vibe.
It really feels like if
lights.
the 80s future came to pass.
Right.
Like,
I really like that. And that has everything to do with like me discovering synthwave and listening to the band The Midnight. Like, I just started falling in love with that stuff, and Cyberpunk's art style really does it for me, especially for this year.
Yeah.
What 2020?
I think it's probably Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay.
I really
you like Japanese stuff?
Well, I don't even necessarily know if like that. It's just that game, the way it presents it in that world. I really thought it was aesthetically incredibly pleasing. Like,
Okay.
I loved riding through that world. I liked going through a lot. I also will say, second on that for me is probably Valhalla. The art style in that, and just the vistas and views. Well, I'm not really the biggest fan of like the more open world naturey. It looks amazing, and when you see this like broken down castle out in the distance, and like just this kind of classic look, you can go to the Cliffs of Dover, you go see Stonehenge, very cool. But Ghost, I think overall, like obviously all those colors wouldn't really exist on an island, but I don't know. I think it really captures that art style well that I didn't even know I would really like.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
for sure. I think like the colors in Ghost of Tsushima you don't really see in a lot of games. Like they do a lot of like they probably do take a lot of liberties, but
and then even just I guess even just the way
it just
I love the way it's
appealing.
shot and yeah, it's appealing, and even like they take that very what's the inspiration they took? They have the Kurosawa mode, like that you can definitely tell that they when shooting their like just their cutscenes and things like that. Even they took a lot of inspiration from that. But yeah, I think it's Ghost for me.
What about all time? Like, what's kind of your favorite art style there? This is a tough one for me. I hate definitive questions.
See,
like
that's tough too, because like something I might have found appealing 5 years ago doesn't look as good to me anymore. Just I feel like because of the things that we have.
Well,
like I guess not even 5 years.
I
but
wouldn't
like,
even necessarily look
like
at it like that.
graphically,
Like
yeah.
what? Right.
Yeah,
Don't look
like
at it
what
graphically.
it's
Like,
like
what
aesthetic.
kind of like aesthetics and themes and within the art of the game like really like speak.
You know
to
what I actually really like? I don't know if it's my favorite of all time, but if I had to pick one just off the top of my head right now, God of War, the new one.
Okay.
Like really just in the way how like just the mysticality behind it, the way his axe looks, the design of the world, and just the way the magic works in it, and there's like this very very fantastical element. I don't know. I think it's a very you look at that world and you know where you're at. I don't like it's just very distinct, and I think very well done. But what about you?
I kind of have two that come to mind. One is Metal Gear Solid. And not even the way Metal Gear Solid looks, but I feel like Yoji Shinkawa's artwork that kind of like goes along with it, and like seeing him draw these characters really like elicits like a certain vibe to me. Like if you go on Google and type in Yoji Shinkawa, you could do it right now if you wanted to. Like that picture is drawn by Yoji Shinkawa. Same with Gray Fox over here. Like he like his art style is so synonymous with Metal Gear Solid for me that like I kind of think about that, and like you can see like his drawings, like, you know, not everything in Metal Gear looks like, you know, real necessarily. Like Venom Snake has a fucking like robot arm.
Yeah, it's like what's going on?
But like on all the games, like all the character designs and stuff really are cool. And then the other one probably for me, which is kind of more comes alive in the second iteration of the game, Dragon Age. I love fantasy stuff. Fantasy games are my like number one like genre, and there are not enough of them. I think I've said that before on the podcast. But the way Dragon Age sort of like ditches the realistic like medieval style and kind of like creates their own really like shows in Dragon Age 2 and then kind of follows in Inquisition.
Their
Like,
own kind of architectural. Yeah.
you've played Inquisition and like the way like the armor is like it's
Cool.
very like aesthetically pleasing to me. Yeah, it's like like sometimes it's like like the spiked shoulders that like definitely aren't realistic in any way, shape, or form.
They're
but, like,
completely
look
ornamental.
very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like there's something about that world that artistically I'm really about, and I think that's
That's a
why
good call,
I like
for
Dragon
sure.
Age a lot. I could say the same thing for The Witcher,
I
but
was
The
actually
Witcher is
really about to-
definitely a little more realistic
Definitely.
with things.
For sure.
Yeah. One thing I did want to bring up to you, and somebody actually asked a question about it, so
Let's do it.
I'll kind of feed in.
Yeah.
Scooby Snacks,
Ooh.
our bud Casey Wallman. You may have seen him on podcasts as well. I don't know what the last one he did with us. Maybe like the video game scripts one.
I think you're right.
Remember the
I think,
movie pitches?
yeah.
He asked general thoughts on Microsoft's Xbox Live Gold pricing announcement, Fumble, and recovery. So I wanted to bring this up to you because I brought it up yesterday, but I stopped talking about it on Xbox. I was like, I'll save this for the podcast. So if you guys didn't know, Friday Xbox announced that they were going to double the price of Xbox Live Gold from $60 a year to $120 a year, and then the 3 months would double too. I forget what
It would have
pricing
been
is.
60 for 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all that doubled, and everyone kind of lost their shit. And I kind of was like,
Rightfully so, in my opinion.
and I was kind of like, all right, I guess, yeah, it's kind of shitty, but like, I guess we got to deal with it. Like, that's just the way I looked at it. I didn't really like get like too upset about it because it's just like, yeah, I guess I have to pay this.
Yeah, I definitely was more like, oh, I might cancel my gold until like games start coming out.
And that's kind of, I was like, dude, just like, and I'm just like, I'm like, relax. Like, like I'm just like,
guys,
stop
come on.
getting so worked up.
No,
over
but
it.
that's not even worked up. It's just me being like, all right, well, I don't want to spend $60 for 6 months if I'm not like, if
And
I
I'm
can
not
get
using
game.
it. I get,
Yeah, like I don't know. Like I don't play. The only time I really play online games is like with you when we're playing Red Dead. And so,
Yeah,
and then it's
for
true. I
sure.
would have lost the gold games, and that would have been annoying. But like, I was looking at it, I'm like, if they came out and were like, it's going to be $80 for the year, and then $40 for whatever 3 months, I would be like, okay, whatever. Like that's fine. I think that's kind of reasonable. Prices haven't gone up at all. But yeah,
Ever?
doubling it. No, wasn't it 50 at first? I thought, or that was Sony, right? PlayStation was 50, and then they changed it. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. I definitely was like, come on, guys. Like, what are you doing? And they did have the wherewithal the next day to pull it back after seeing the response, which I can appreciate, and I will give them credit for. I thought Ian brought up an interesting. I don't think it's true, but the interesting point in our chat of like, they might have just done it for some good PR. The reason I don't think that's true is because they already have tons
Good
of good
PR.
PR. Like, there's no like.
Yeah.
I do think it was truly like just a dumb like a fumble where they thought, oh well, this will be fine, and people really responded in a visceral way.
My thinking behind it is, I've kind of had this prediction for a while now, and I think I said it when I talked to Ian about the Series X in that podcast. You can go watch it now or listen on YouTube or your favorite podcast service. I think I mentioned to him that and I know I've mentioned it to you before, so this isn't like new, that Xbox is, I picture them just based on how they've been doing things, that they're going to phase out gold. And what I mean by that is they're going to make online free. And what you're going to be paying for, is Game Pass. Or there won't be a gold, and there will just be Xbox Game Pass Ultimate or whatever it is. And when you pay for Game Pass, you get gold online, all that stuff. So they're just putting you into one service. So everyone who has Xbox Live also has Game Pass.
That's very dumb by them. Like, I think like if that is what they're doing, I think that's an incredibly stupid mistake in the way
Why?
of like so you're making people pay for this extra service when they then might be like, well, I'm not paying 120 a year, so I'm not going to pay you anything. Instead of having an option for $60 a year to just get internet.
Quickly, you don't pay yearly for Game Pass.
You pay monthly, right?
Right. You can only pay monthly. So, I mean, you're correct in like the
if you go
actual
through,
math,
yeah.
But like, you don't actually pay yearly for Game Pass.
Which I think is kind of also dumb that they wouldn't release like, all right, you pay $100 up front.
Right.
And then
That's dumb because I don't have Game Pass, and I was like, well, I want to, like, I have a year subscription to, like, my year just came up, so I'm good till next December. I'm not gonna cancel it and get Game Pass for a month and then keep paying.
Yeah, no, I
monthly.
mean, I
It's
don't like
it's
it.
dumb.
I don't know. I did think it was a fumble. I appreciated that they tried to recover, and I feel like they did, and they do. And I don't know. I would be curious to see what the thought process there was.
I think like regardless of what the truth is, Xbox wants you to get Game Pass. Period.
No, I know that.
Like that's what they're pushing you towards.
And don't get me wrong. Once we start getting a lot more exclusives announced and shit like that, I'm getting Game Pass.
I think Game Pass is worth your time, and it's just like I was kind of explaining to Casey yesterday. I'm like,
as of right now, I don't think it's worth $120 a year. I will say that.
I was like, you're being dramatic. I was like, because guess what? You want to get Halo Infinite. Paying for Halo Infinite is half of a year's Game Pass done.
Yeah, but then it's also you don't own that game.
Right, but like, why would you unsubscribe from Game Pass if you're enjoying the thing?
And that's true, and I agree. I guess it's just like I didn't think he was being completely unreasonable, and I think like as of right now, it's not worth 120. Once they start getting these games that they are like Fable and like these other games that their exclusive partners are working
people
off.
would disagree with you,
but like
people who really use Game Pass, which is not us two.
No, I guess I'm saying for me right now, and I guess for like. It's not worth me paying $120. I have all the games that I want to play on that right now.
And I think for someone like Casey, like I know how Casey plays games, like I think it is Game Pass is worth his time because he jumps in and out of games and he has an entire plethora of games to jump into at any time. You don't have to pay because I know how Casey operates with his money. I know what Casey wants to pay for and what he doesn't want to pay for. He doesn't want to
in your bank account.
He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to shell out $60 for a game. But guess what? You're paying what is it for a month?
$10 a month.
You're paying $10 a month for Game Pass. There's probably a $60 game in there you can get.
No, absolutely.
And that's just the way I see it.
I agree, and I think that's fine if they want to give us that option. But I don't like being forced into it. Like it seemed like they were trying.
And kind of going back to like the next day, them less than 24 hours later saying, "Okay, we're gonna we hear you. We're gonna
that's good on them,
it back."
But they still fucked up.
Right, but I don't think if it was Sony who did this,
no, we're not talking about Sony, Gooch. We're talking about Xbox. I don't want to hear this. What about Sony? I'm talking about Xbox.
I'm comparing the two because that's all we do.
I know what you're saying. That's fair. But I guess right now it's not even like Sony has a lot of fuck ups in their customer service department. I feel like a lot more than Xbox, and that's I will say I will put PlayStation.
I get annoyed when people go, "Oh, fucking Xbox, fucking Microsoft." Dude, like fuck off. Like you, like come on. Like this, like okay. The fact that they doubled the price is kind of a dick move. I can agree with you, but the fact that less than 24 hours later they took it back, not a week, not they didn't even hit a day. Well, they listened and
Xbox sucks.
The games with gold, the free to play games, they're not going to require I think gold anymore. Like,
oh, really? That's interesting.
At least, yeah, and I'm just like they're clearly listening.
And I appreciate that, but why'd you do it in the first place? You fucking dirty. No,
maybe they.
No, they might. I just am curious. Like,
and I was thinking, it's like get people used to that price point. Take gold away. Now you have to get Game Pass, and you get more.
People
you're paying
were not.
You're paying the same price, and now you're getting more.
But again, I don't like being tricked into it, and I think a lot of people felt like that. And good on you, Microsoft, for rectifying that. But fuck you for trying to make us pay more. Anyways, no. But yeah, I think that's kind of all I got to say about it.
Yeah, like we're done and gone. It's over. Like it was,
which is good.
It was literally less than a day.
I can give them props. Good job.
Yeah.
And like I said with the Ian thing, I don't think they did it just for pats on the back. They don't need pats on the back.
No, they don't.
The customer service wise, they are tip top. Especially when it comes to Sony and stuff like that. Which I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and act like PlayStation stuff like it sucks in that regard. I just don't think it's on the same par. But yeah, I don't know. What else do we got on that question list? But Casey, you weren't being that ridiculous. Gooch is being. No.
I am being ridiculous. Let's switch gears. Jessica Sharnagle, friend of the show. She was on Beyond County Lines.
That's right.
Talking about covering Overwatch League. She asks, what is your favorite cheesesteak joint and why is it Jim's? Ironically, my favorite cheesesteaks in the city is Jim's. Unironically, Jim's on South Street is my favorite place. It's like the black and white tiles. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I think I've been there actually. Yeah. I might get my Philly card revoked here.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
I don't like cheesesteaks.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
not-
Trio's a picky ass.
I mean,
you
I've
really
had,
don't like cheesesteaks
I've had
at all?
like if we're at a party and you have cheesesteaks and that's it, I'll eat a cheesesteak. But I don't know. Never been my go-to. I'm more of a I don't know. I guess when I'm going to the city, like
When you told me you didn't like sandwiches, that was mind blowing.
well,
I
like
was
I
like,
don't like
what do you-
certain sandwiches.
What do you mean you don't like like when I got Primos, like that
Oh, yeah,
time, and I-
hoagies, like,
and I was
yeah.
just like, you never told me. It's like you don't like hoagies. Like you never told me that before. Because I've gotten like trays before for like events.
I guess maybe I don't know. Maybe I've eaten before or something. It hasn't come up. Yeah, Gooch found out that I don't like to eat a lot of things, and it blew his mind a little
It
bit.
really did.
Considering we've been hanging out for about 5
So like,
years or so.
if you get a cheesesteak, what are you getting on it?
Probably just ketchup and cheese with the
like
steak.
whiz or like
Oh,
American.
Probably like American. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not a whiz guy.
I'll do a whiz wit.
Oh.
Yeah, definitely.
Like
I mean, like if somebody like is making cheesesteaks, they're probably using American cheese.
Sure.
I don't really care. But like if I'm getting a cheesesteak from a cheesesteak place, and it's like the basic of basic things, like if I'm going to Jim's or D'Alessandro's or Pat's or Gino's, like I'm just gonna get a whiz wit and call it a day.
I like it.
Like I don't get too fancy. Do you like pork sandwiches?
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Oh well. I wanted to take you to Denix in Reading Terminal now that I discovered it for cons, but
Yeah.
we haven't been to a con since that.
Literally.
So they make a mean roast pork sandwiches, and like it's kind of like an Italian roast pork sandwich. It's like roast pork, extra sharp provolone, broccoli rabe, fucking killer. That is like a sandwich.
Yeah.
Any day of the week.
Wow.
Like it is really good. Would you eat that?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, good.
All right.
Because we're definitely whenever Wizard World happens again,
Yeah, if it ever
whatever
does.
con we go to
Yeah.
in Philly,
Jesus.
we're going there again.
Ah, that's man. It's been 2 years, right, since we went to Philly, at least. Since the last
Fuck.
one. Maybe
Yeah,
3.
we're coming up on 2. Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, I don't know. Cheesesteaks though, not really my bag. I can hand in my Philly card though if anyone needs it.
But you'll eat like a ham and cheese, but like you won't
Absolutely.
eat like a hoagie.
I mean, like I'll eat like a ham and cheese hoagie, but I guess like yeah, once you start like adding like onions and shit on it, I'm like, yeah.
What do you like absolutely hate? Like what will you totally not eat? I'm interested.
I'm trying to think of something I just like can't stomach at all.
You said you don't like sushi.
No, I don't like sushi at all. I think I've had it once and I was really not good. I'm trying to think
Sushi's
of what
a
I
very
can literally
a
not
very
like.
adult food.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially for like Americans. Like you don't eat sushi until you're like older, I feel.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of something I've like gone to dinner. I've been like, I can't even try to eat this.
Oh, that's
But
never
I like
happened
don't-
to me
like
before.
yeah, I don't know. Like I really, as a grown adult, you gotta look like you're at least trying to eat some things. So like I don't usually like I'll give it like a go and I'll get like but like I don't know. I had squid one time. That was disgusting.
Where?
I tried like it was I don't know down the shore, but it wasn't fried.
It was like
actually-
it wasn't calamari.
It wasn't
right?
calamari. I actually like calamari.
Calamari is really
It
good.
actually wasn't that bad. It was just so like it was like gum. Like it just what like the texture and
Were you like a kid?
Nah, I think it was when I was like probably older, like 15, 16. But I was
Okay.
just like, not fun of me.
So
And
did your
the
mom
suction-
get it and you're like,
Yeah, I was like, I'll try.
what you'd say?
A suction cup.
Oh, see, no.
Yeah.
You ever seen that video of a girl eating a fucking live squid?
No, and I don't want to.
Dude.
I think I've seen. Have you seen the videos of like? Yeah, I think they're on top of things and like they're still kind of alive, so they poke them and then they start like.
Well, yeah, like this squid is totally alive, and like when she's eating it, like the tentacles like go
Trying to get out. Yeah.
Dude, I'm like, this
like,
is
holy-
fucking gross. Like this is disgusting. I was like,
Yeah, it's like trying to like not. It's like, because those squids are smart as fuck. Like they can like get out of jars and shit. Like if you leave like open up jars, if you put like they're pretty fucking smart.
yeah.
Not good. I would not. I don't know if I'd want to eat a squid now. Like,
Ew.
yeah, it's just trying to like help me, and then you're just slowly pulling it in your
Yeah,
mouth.
Jim's on South Street. for
Jesus.
cheesesteaks.
All right.
I'm trying to think of other. I mean, I haven't eaten all the cheesesteak places in Philly, but there's nothing I hate. Tony Luke's is all right. I've been to
That's the
been to
big one, right?
Geno's, and I've actually never been to Pat's,
Mhm.
even though I've been there. Tony Luke's, D'Alessandro's. D'Alessandro's is pretty good. John Roast Pork makes a pretty pretty good cheesesteak, I hear, even though they're a roast pork place.
Interesting. All right. What do we got next?
All right, next up, Grandma's Blankets, aka my cousin Chaz.
Chaz, how are you? If you're watching.
He's good. Chaz asks, what joy do you get being a trophy / achievement hunter? ... Gooch.
Well, I mean, I don't even know what to say. This is all you, Gooch.
Yeah, so we've done a podcast on this. I'm not sure. It was probably like 2018.
I think so.
Maybe
Like
2019.
a year or two ago, at least.
But we did a podcast about why I like achievements and trophies. And sort of my reasoning behind it is I think achievements and trophies.
Achievements and the trophies.
Hey, achievements and trophies really bring out, I feel like, the quality of a game to its max. If you can get a platinum or 100% in a game, and by the time you're done, be like, wow, I really enjoyed that. That's probably a good game.
Makes sense.
But like at the end of a list, if you're like, fuck,
just dredging through
that was miserable. I had to play that 7 times, and man, the second playthrough on was terrible, and I had to do all this extra shit. That's a bad game in the grand scheme of things. Like I've played a game like RE1. Its trophy list requires you to play it like 6 times.
Jesus.
And every playthrough I enjoyed it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's
like some games, like the replayability really shows.
Absolutely.
And some it's just like,
here we go.
Here we go.
But like, why
I gotta
do you
go back and
why
do
do you
this
force
shit?
yourself to finish those ones where you're like,
It's just kind of like a
completionist type
right?
thing? Yeah.
I want to say OCD, like ADD kind of thing, but I don't have either of those things.
No, yeah, it's just like
it's
just your
kind
thing.
of like
yeah.
right, like a show of like, yeah, I played this game to its fullest. I got what I would consider the most out of it. I'm done. Right. It's just like it's a completionist aspect thing, and like some games take me longer than others. And
there is something too, I will say, especially with PlayStation, I'm much more drawn on there for some reason to get trophies.
I
guess in a way,
I think the
like,
platinums are a lot more appealing. To
well,
people.
that's what I think. It's like, man, I got a platinum trophy in this game. Like, I don't know. There's something like, whereas like on Xbox, I'm like, well, I got 50 gamer score for this one. Like, that's cool, I guess. But I don't know why it doesn't feel like the same oomph for me for some reason.
But I feel like gold, silver, and bronze don't really do anything for me. Just like an achievement being 100 gamer score and 10 gamer score
it doesn't
don't really do
yeah.
anything to me. But I think the platinum differentiator
is a bit of a draw. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that is true. It's like those other ones I'm not, but like I'm like, oh, I got 3 platinums now, and I need to get my 4th. Goddammit, I still need to finish the New Game Plus of Miles Morales. That's the only thing.
Did you get the platinum in Dishonored too?
Yeah.
Okay, I remember you saying you were gonna do that.
It took me like I had literally like 2 trophies left. One of the harder ones.
Clean hands, right?
For some reason it just glitched. So I had to do that, and then I had to do one where I didn't use powers, which was actually a lot of fun. I was surprised at how much the game was still very playable without powers.
I think I was like very fed up with the game at that point, and I was just like, God damn it, want to do this.
Oh man!
But like, some lists just require 1 playthrough and are good, and some require multiple, and they're still pretty fun. Like Demon Souls is a game that kind of like sometimes you have to go through like at least 2 or 3 times to either go get items or do different endings.
Sure.
And it's kind of like on those other playthroughs, I'm speeding through. I'm not doing everything. I'm not getting everything.
Makes sense.
I'm doing what I have to do, and I'm beating it, and I'm going on to the next thing because I'm just trying to get done with it. That's kind of what I did with Demon Souls. And Demon Souls, unfortunately, like every boss is pretty much required. You have to kill every boss in the game. I don't think there's any optional bosses. There's like mini bosses.
That makes sense.
You have to kill every boss, but like with Dark Souls 1 through 3 and even Bloodborne, there's a ton of optional bosses you don't even have to touch.
Interesting. Oh yeah, that makes total sense, especially in Bloodborne. That's one I always wish I should just finish that game. If I have some time this upcoming, I think it's.
Did you stop after Vicar Amelia?
I think so. I think that's where I.
You know what? Let me get off on a tangent because I don't know if you've heard about this, but a lot of people are really pissed off that Bloodborne isn't getting a 60 frames per second patch. Yeah. I kind of don't get it, and I do get it at the same time.
Like how much of a hassle is it to do that type of?
I have no idea. A guy named Lance McDonald, though, I watch him a ton. Shout out to him. He hacked it and he did.
He modded it.
He got the game to play 60 FPS. I think it took him a lot of time. He has a video explaining like what he did, and you can like download the patch and play it. But like he did it on a PS4. Like he has a modded PS4 that he did this on. Like it's not necessarily like
a regular PS4
easy to do. Like it's not like, oh yeah, let me just download this file and like put it in.
I don't know. I don't necessarily know. Like there are certain games, like I was saying this the other day, I would love Origins to get a 60 frames upgrade, and just seeing that like Egypt and that like stunningness, I would be really appreciative. But yeah, I don't know. That is weird. I'm
'Cause, like,
curious to see how much is involved in doing that. Like what? Like if it's literally like.
But like on PS5, the PS5 can definitely run Bloodborne 60 frames per second.
Absolutely, it's more about like what kind of, like I'm curious what kind of update they have to do to the game. That,
From Software has the game locked on it. Like it must be pretty easy if somebody was able to just do it and have it. I think the game run like the whole game works.
Yeah.
Like it's not like the game crashes or anything. But that's kind of the thing with PS5. I guess that's kind of annoying. It's like every game has to release a PS5 update. It's not like like Xbox does that, but like Xbox also natively upscales.
Well, I was
the
seeing
frames
something
for everything.
with like Hitman, like you had to download the PS4 version and the PS5 version on your PS5 to transfer the stuff over. It was really weird. Like that's the one thing Sony I don't understand. Like they don't make it easy.
No,
I feel
they
like
don't.
it really don't. Like
really
Xbox,
don't.
the one thing I love is that's the upgraded phone. It has the operating system that was on my
that's
last
a
phone.
very good way to put it.
But that I can put all my fucking games into that thing. That's truly the reason I think I would have gotten a PlayStation probably if they were both on sale at the same time and if I could have gotten them both. But that's one thing I'm truly really liking about the Series X is like I have all my Xbox games. I haven't had one that I can't just put in and just play. Whereas I don't think I could do that on my PlayStation 5 for a lot of the games. Like
you can, but you're not playing a upscaled version of it. It's just the PS4 version of it, unless the developer releases a patch. You're playing the PS4 version. So Ghost of Tsushima has a faster frames update. So I've been playing. Cool. I've been dabbling into Legends a little bit.
I want to play New Game Plus, and that's so bad. But I'm waiting until I get a PlayStation 5.
That's exactly what I did, and a great call because I get to play through the whole game
like
with 60 frames.
I want to do New Game Plus. I want to try the Legend stuff out.
Speaking of backlogged games, I was kind of talking to you about this earlier, and we're officially in backlog season, people. Like, nothing's coming out for a little bit. Hitman was kind of the one reprieve, but it looks like we're pretty much in like a drought for a little bit.
Like, what's the next game? I couldn't even tell you.
Resident Evil?
Jesus, that might be.
In May? I think that's the next date we have that I know of.
Yeah, that's totally...
Returnal? And the Medium, I think, actually haven't come out yet. I think Returnal's coming out, but like, I don't. That's not.
No,
like
I think you're right. I think
everyone's gonna get on, and
I think
I don't
Village
know if
is
I'm
the
gonna
next
get
one.
it yet.
Yeah.
But are you planning on jumping into anything anytime soon? Like any sort of, new or old? Like, are you like,
I've been playing Hitman. I've been playing Crash Bandicoot too. That's actually been a lot of fun. The new one, It's About Time or whatever.
Yeah.
Would definitely recommend that. No, not particularly. I mean, I kind of want to finish Sekiro really bad because I never did, and I started playing that.
End off?
I just beat the second monk, like on the cloud.
Yeah,
I'm pretty close. End. So like, I kind of want to finish that off. Maybe Bloodborne. I like now that we're talking about that too. I kind of want to go back and finish up. Of course, they released that patch for Jedi Fallen Order, and I don't have it on Xbox. And I'm literally thinking about buying it on Xbox, like to play.
Hey man,
like,
it'll probably go on sale.
No, that's what I was thinking. I could find it for pretty cheap, and like, I mean, if it's $30, I enjoyed that game a lot. I wouldn't care replaying it again.
Yeah, so that patch isn't on PS5.
It is. I just don't have a PlayStation 5, obviously. So,
right.
Like, so that's that's the only reason as to why I would do that. But I mean, not particularly. I mean, I've been playing the hell out of Squadrons. I really love that game. God, I wish I could play it in VR. But I mean, it's a really fun dogfight game. But yeah, I need to finish Assassin's Creed too. That's on my list, and I do want to.
It's like me with Kingdoms of Amalur. I'm like, I'm almost 60 hours in, and I'm kind of at the point where I'm doing everything I hate doing. Skipping dialogue, not talking to any NPCs of extra stuff, because I feel like that's what was making, like it with that game. I just see its age. And it, like, the dialogue isn't necessarily interesting.
Yeah.
Like, you ask a person about something and they like pretty much
just give you the straightforward answer.
Right. Yeah. And it's just like, I don't need to talk to every NPC and ask them about all of their points, which some of them are a lot.
Sure.
I'm just gonna do the main quest and not skip the dialogue on the main quest, but like do some of the, like, I'll try to do all the side quests, but like I'm just gonna skip the dialogue.
Sure.
The gameplay's fun and like I like the loop, but like fuck, like I just kind of want to beat it.
Yep.
And it's like, it's sort of the Xbox game that's been on my backlog that I haven't finished yet, so I need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I was kind of looking at my list, and I'm like, what do I want to play next? And I have a bunch of games on PS5 and PS4 that I need to platinum. Final Fantasy 7, I'm like, I'll get back to it. Like, I'm definitely going to play hard mode again, but, like, I want to do it at the right time. Last of Us, I need to go back to because they had it grounded in permadeath. Not looking forward to that.
Of course. Jesus.
Cyberpunk I need to play through again. I was talking to you. I was like, I was thinking about waiting, but I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to play it again. Yeah. Because I'm just gonna get annoyed.
Get it over with, yeah.
Right? Ghost of Tsushima, Godfall. I still need to finish up. I have a lot of games that I'm playing through, but I think I'm gonna start since the Resident Evil hype is kind of around. I think I'm gonna start up Code Veronica and kind of continue that series playthrough. So you played Maiden before we did this podcast? Not did that do it for you, but like, what's your reaction?
I'm really liking the aesthetics of this place. I'm liking that we're back in a mansion. It looks just technically amazing. I mean, we were talking about the ray tracing stuff, just the way lighting really makes a world come alive, I guess, is something I really never noticed until this generation, or like, especially with like Miles Morales and stuff. Just like, it makes the world feel so real in such like a tangible way that I don't know. I guess I never really thought about. And like when we're walking by the bricks and Village and stuff like that, and you see the gleaming off them, like literally exactly how it would look in real life. Like, it's like, oh fuck, like this is like like it's that next graphical step that I didn't think we really needed, and I didn't even know I feel like existed.
We are kind of like at a max. Like, how much better can we get?
And there's just it's now I feel like more about the little details. Yeah, it's exactly the things that really make your mind believe this world is real, and it's cool. And I think that whole game is going to be really fun, terrifying, and kind of bringing it to a spot where it's still horror focused. There's a little bit more action, and again, I guess that's what you're saying, kind of like with Resident Evil 4 comparison, right? How they're kind of making it more like that, or is it just because of the way, like...
what I was talking about with Resident Evil 4, the inventory system is like 4's.
Gotcha.
Where it's like the bricks, the blocks. Before, I don't think it was like that.
I think it kind of was. Like, it wasn't set up in the way it was like, it was your whole screen, but like there were like blocks where you'd move things around and like...
Okay.
But yeah, it's similar, but different.
And then they're bringing a merchant back in. And Resident Evil 4 was the first game to have a merchant where you upgraded your guns and bought shit from him. And he'll be like a main staple character that kind of follows you through. The merchant's kind of like a meme too.
Then you got the big lady.
He's like, "What'd you buy?" And he opens his coat. "What are you selling?" Like,
did he look like that in the old games, or was he just a guy in like a trench coat or something?
He wore like a purple mask, and he had like a black trench coat. And when you go up to him, but like really out of place.
Yeah,
like,
just
what
like,
is this guy
pal,
doing?
what's going on?
Right, like really out of place. And yeah, and then I think for Xbox, like once I kind of feel ready, I don't want to do it, but I think I'm gonna start Metal Gear Solid 3. Through the HD collection that was on Xbox 360. I think I'm gonna start playing the Metal Gear games I haven't played, even though I can't play 1 and 4 on current generation. I could play 1 on PC, but 4 is the only one that is locked to PS3.
Interesting.
Now, so but then again, I'm like, okay, if I do the whole big boss era, I have 3, Peace Walker, Ground Zeroes, and 5, and that's all of Big Boss's story arc.
Sure.
So like, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'd actually love to jump into Ground Zeroes on PS5.
Yeah, why not?
And play 5 on PS5, like re-platinum it, get all the trophies again. Like, I wouldn't mind playing that game again.
That game is like, again, gameplay wise, one of my favorite games of all time. Like when it comes to like us being.
And I haven't been back to it since I played it, so it's been years. Like I've watched it a ton, but like now I know even more about Metal Gear than I did the first time I played it.
So now you're in it.
So it'd be very cool to kind of go back and be like, okay, like, and not that I've seen, you know, I watch a Metal Gear stream, Outer Haven Network, and all the time. So I've seen this game plenty of times, but I haven't played it since I finished it the first time. So it'd be cool to go back and do all that, but I'm not sure. It's on my dock, but yeah. That's what
I'm very curious to see what's going to be shuffling out the door this holiday season. I don't like, as in game wise, like we don't have any nailed down things, do we? Really?
Halo.
Okay. Do you think we'll get God of War this year?
No.
I don't think so either.
Fuck no.
Personally.
If you think you're getting God of War this year, you're fucking insane.
I think next year is a strong possibility. 2022. Absolutely.
April 2022.
I think that's a very strong possibility. Do I think they necessarily couldn't put it out this year? No. Well, when did God of War come out, actually?
2018.
No, yeah, 4 years. Yeah, you're right. So 2022. I think 2021 is definitely. It was 2018. I remember that for a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's 3 years, and I'm assuming they're using the same engine and stuff like that. I'd be curious to see what goes on. I think Kratos dying at the end of this one, and I think you're going to play as Atreus for the third one. But
I think that'd be a good change of pace.
I think so. And imagine I feel like they could kind of change it. Like imagine doing like bow combat in that and stuff like that. Like I think they could do something really cool and different. But what if they God of Mischief? Do you think they'd do that, or do you think they'd keep God of War if he does die?
They keep God of War.
I feel like they have to.
They have
because
to.
it would be very.
They can't change the title.
I think God of Mischief would be cool, but
God of War is a synonymous title.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's got a legacy. So.
I don't think they'd change that until like maybe if they were to do that, which I don't think.
Maybe they give it a subtitle,
trilogy.
but like is the next God of War going to be God of War 2, or is it going to? Oh no, it's Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're subtitled already. So I think whatever you get is just going to be God of War subtitle.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. I can't wait to see. Like again, they kind of mess with the Norse mythology and stuff in Assassin's Creed, and it's kind of interesting because it's like first civilization type stuff. But I don't know. I think the way God of War kind of handles that mythology and that world is a bit more interesting to me, and it's just a bit more gritty. And I don't know. I love it. I can't wait to see what Asgard looks like in that game.
Going to a Discord question. Casey again asks us, what piece of entertainment are you most excited for that should be coming out in 2021? So we're kind of talking about it. So I just wanted to throw it out there. Thank you, Casey, for the multiple questions. Yeah, I think for me, like just because you're talking about it, Halo Infinite is I think is going to be a game for sure.
It's definitely going to be a game. I will definitely agree to that.
This game is going to make or break Halo.
I think so too, and I mean they've had a lot of shuffling at 343, haven't they, and stuff like that, and like so.
Yeah,
so not the most amazing science.
I feel like this game needs to be the greatest thing it can possibly be.
Yeah, I don't know if they necessarily should have went with the open
and
world stuff that they're doing.
And I'm telling you right now, it's not getting delayed. This is the release.
I mean, it has. I think you're right. I think it has to.
Yeah, they can't delay it again.
I'm trying to think. Peace of it's probably not really no video games right now that I can think of are like really sticking out to me. It's more film stuff. So like
I have a few movies.
Dune. I just finished the book last night. I was talking to you about it. I now truly cannot wait for that movie, and I really am curious to see what Denis Villeneuve does with that. Because I mean, I didn't love Blade Runner. It was a little boring for me, but I really do.
Great.
And I do realize the way he builds an ambiance in that movie and the way he respects that IP and that story, and people who love Blade Runner, the old one, truly for the most part seem to love that movie. And like he really has a good grasp over the things that he does. And I think with Dune he could do something really cool. And I mean he said he wants to make the Star Wars we've never seen, and I don't know, I think it is possible. And I think that there is
cool.
It looks awesome.
It
and just even after reading the book and seeing how he's translating some of these things into film, I couldn't be more excited.
And you know what? I'll tell you this. I'm not watching that movie down here. I'm seeing that movie in the theater.
Oh, absolutely. Even
not,
King Kong. I want to see.
Like it's so hard to tell. Like what I'm looking forward to the most this year film wise. No Time to Die, man.
Oh, that's true
I
too.
want to see that Bond movie like so fucking bad. I couldn't even like explain it to you. I don't know why. Like it like
I think you were a little teased. That's why. I think you had it. It was right there. And they're just like, nope.
Yeah,
you
it's
ain't
like
getting
I really
shit.
like Ana de Armas. I love Daniel Craig as Bond. Leah Seydoux, Death Stranding hype. I'm high on. So I like this film is like just set up for me to like it.
Yeah, no, and I mean, do you think so? They just announced a new date, right? You think they're gonna make him go through another media cycle and just shoot himself in the head? No,
he barely started.
No, they were like right at the end of it. I thought, wasn't it like
really?
I'm pretty sure they delayed it like 2 weeks before it came out, if I'm remembering correctly.
No, I don't think so.
Hold on, let me look up the original date. I'm just curious.
It was April 4th, I feel.
But
yeah, because Daniel Craig was on SNL. I know he's on a few.
That's what I thought. He just did all like his rounds. I remember because he was on SNL. He did a bunch of interviews. Like he kind of did the media circuit. But then now they're gonna. I mean, I assume gonna do it again in some way, or it's just gonna be on Zoom.
I'm glad they're delaying it because I don't want to fucking. Wonder Woman really made me realize that I really don't think some of these movies the place is on streaming services.
Well, especially
Dune,
for that first viewing. Absolutely
fucking Dune, man. Like
even King Kong.
Look at and Chris Nolan and other directors are kind of coming out. And it's like, dude, the streaming service, HBO Max, whatever, they are not the place for the first viewings of these movies.
I think for certain movies it does work. But no, I agree with a movie like a Dune, especially. And even Denny Villeneuve said something. He's like, they're basically already cutting the legs off of Dune if we do this home release, because like how are we gonna build up enough profit to get because this is only going to be because I think this is going to only be the first part of the book. It's only going to be the first half of the book of the first book because it's a pretty big story. But yeah, I don't know because I don't know what they can because they can't just sit on these. They can't. They're hemorrhaging money by doing that, and with this pandemic bullshit, I mean, it seems like things are kind of like. Not bullshit. Obviously, pandemic's real. I don't mean bullshit isn't. It's not like a thing. I mean bullshit isn't just we don't know what's going on and like we don't know when we'll be back in the theaters.
Theaters are open here again.
So they are open again. Is Regal?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Actually, know that. But
I
again,
don't know.
But again,
AMC's open.
The only issue is you can open up those theaters, but
what
are people
going
to but not even that? Are people going to go see a movie? Do they feel comfortable enough to go see a movie? And a lot of people don't. Still, they don't.
Right, but I think a lot of people are.
I think so too.
At this point,
I hope so.
On January 24th, on a Sunday, at 3:51 p.m., I can tell you that people are fucking over this shit.
Definitely for them, but I mean, I still see people,
especially
out there all the
where
time
we live.
Like, yeah.
Especially where we live. Like it's not that people are like just fucking like going wild, but like it's like how much longer can we fucking do this? And I've been saying
that's
that
a
for
whole
a
nother
while.
podcast in and of itself,
right?
But
it's
it's just like I don't know.
Are we really gonna sacrifice the entire movie industry? Like how much longer? Especially that industry. Restaurants and small businesses are like another thing.
I don't know. I think they're kind of both on the exact same level, honestly, in the way of like,
in a way, but like movie theaters literally have nothing to give right now. They have nothing to sell.
No, it's true.
You.
It's like you can't. You're not going
for popcorn.
No, yeah. I think they're very similar to like a restaurant in the way of like you need patrons and your overhead's already not that great.
You need patrons, but you also need movies.
Well, that's the thing too. Exactly.
We worked at the movie theater. There's times, even Saturday, Friday nights, where there's nothing out. Nobody's really coming out to see any movies because there's nothing out. And that's that's just the way it is sometimes with some seasons. But people are still coming out, and it's not like they've been closed for a certain amount of time. It's in a few weeks, another movie will come out and it'll do good. But there's nothing out. I don't know how a movie theater can be open and making money. Like, what, he's showing Star Wars? Like,
well, that's what they're doing, old stuff now too.
It's just like it's crazy.
I don't know.
And I went to the movie theaters twice during all this, and there was nobody in the theater both times I went.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't know if I'm very curious as to if they did say they're open and we're putting these movies out, how many people would feel comfortable enough to go? And I think it would be a good amount, but I don't know if it would be enough to make keeping those open profitable. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
So that's the issue. I don't know.
Is it profitable for AMC to be open right now? Probably not. Nothing's out.
Exactly.
And I'm like, I don't know if Soul actually had a theatrical release. Like, is Soul in theaters? Like, I know that's a movie that came out that originally had a theatrical release, released on Disney Plus. But I feel like, are you looking it up?
No, I'm just shooting a text.
Oh, okay. I feel like Soul like put that out in theaters, but like I don't know if like that's kids and stuff. Like you're not gonna be able to pack the theater anyway. But like neither are you gonna with any other movie. But yeah, like I don't want to see No Time to Die in my house. I don't want to see Dune in my house. I don't want to see Black Widow. Like I hope they don't fucking release that movie. I want to see it in theaters.
I do too.
I want to go to the theaters because guess what, man? I wasn't hype on Black Widow to begin with. I'm gonna be fucking extra hype about it now.
Yeah.
Like this and like right when we were talking about Wonder Woman, like I think Wonder Woman didn't do well because seeing it in theaters gives it a different.
Gives a bit of more of a flavor. I don't even know what it like. It's that whole thing of like, and I don't even know like Wonder Woman. Yeah, I think, but like we're saying with like a movie like Dune, like a King Kong versus Godzilla. I want that big screen. I want that big sound. I want it all. But anyways, I mean, getting
that big sound.
Getting back to other media, I can't wait for one that I'm like, I don't know why. I just am incredibly excited just to see what it is, and I think it's probably gonna be bad, but who knows? Mortal Kombat. I don't know why. Like, I'm really pumped for that movie, just for the cast and just to see what they do. And even if it's just crazy, zany, wacky shit, I'm on board. And then also James Gunn's Suicide Squad. I don't know what's going to happen. I have pretty good faith in him. I don't think it's going to be bad by any means, but I think he could do something really cool and kind of like
coming out this year.
HBO Max and stuff. They already said the simultaneous release thing. Yeah.
When?
Couple months, I want to say. Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. So you know that's that.
And dude, like I
would love to see that in the theaters.
If I can see in a theater, I'm going to.
And I think and I would definitely do that, especially by then. But yeah, that's all I can really think of. I don't know. Games wise, we're just light this year.
And it's kind of like we don't really know what is coming out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Halo Infinite definitely. Trying to think. Yeah, like This is weird because we're in the a lot of the games got announced, but because of the next gen Switch, everything probably has a little bit longer in the oven. So nobody's necessarily committed. Yeah. There's something else I think I wanted to bring up to you, but I wasn't. Oh, have you been? I have a few things I wanted to talk about in regards to watching shit. Have you watched anything new in a little bit? I mean, screw Wonder Woman, WandaVision. We're gonna talk about that stuff. You haven't been watching anything?
I don't really. It's funny. TV is like, and
you know what?
Like,
during the pandemic, I didn't watch shit.
No, there's like nothing. And then like even like the CW superhero shows, I've been kind of completely phased out of. Like I don't really watch anymore.
Batwoman on tonight.
Yeah, woo.
Yeah. Woo.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know. Nothing really.
Yeah, so I mean, I watched the entirety of the John Wick series.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Finally.
The best action series I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you've been fucking doing here.
I don't know.
You've been like, we've been talking for you. I'm like, Gooch, watch John Wick. You're like, I'll get to it. And now, like, dude, you're like, it's amazing.
I'm so in on John Wick. Like, I was on this Keanu high with Cyberpunk, and I was like, you know what? Kind of Funny's doing like an interview. They're gonna be talking about it. It's fucking time to watch
Cyberwick.
And like John Wick 1 and 2, awesome. John Wick 3, not as good, but still good.
Yeah.
But I love the world they kind of create with that, and like this world of like assassins and the Continental, and how everyone seems to know John Wick, and like how they're establishing so much story but barely saying anything.
That is my favorite part of those movies. The way that they establish that universe with mere sentences. Just all you need is my favorite scene from that first movie. It's
John,
amazing.
Jim.
He's like
working again.
Yep. Yeah. And then my favorite is when he calls him. He's trying to like the Russian mafia boss. He's like, John, please, we can deal with this as civilized men. And then he hangs up the phone. He's like, what did he say? Enough. Like, and it's just it's the little things just that really build it up so much. And even like when he brings the car to John Leguizamo, and he's like,
in the first one,
yeah, and he's like, where the fuck did you get that car? Like you can see it on his face of like. What did you
John.
Did you kill the guy? He's like, no, I didn't. And then he just fucking slaps. Get the fuck out of my shop.
Yeah, it's he's like, so dude, that's good. John Wick's car, and you killed John Wick's dog. And it's funny how like even in the third one, this is all in a result because of him, the Theon Greyjoy stealing the car and killing his fucking dog. This is all stemming from that. But even in that
first one, the way when he finally kills him, it's like a thought. He's just like pop, and then he walks by him. Like it's not like a setup thing. And I love how he's like, it's just a fucking, and then he just shoots him in the middle of it.
It's so simple and it's so effective. And like I never thought they'd make like we've seen our action movies before, but like this one is it doesn't try to get too complex, like say like Terminator, where Terminator is very complex, like in the grand scheme of things. This is simple. They say what they need to say, but it says so much more than what they're saying.
You get it. Like you don't need any more. You're like, oh, that's what this is a hotel for assassins.
Oh, there's a faction of hobos. Cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
I mean,
like, it's
Lawrence
truly
Fishburne
like
with a dove, like, oh, okay, I get it.
The world, like you're saying, the way they did world building in those movies by basically saying 4 sentences is probably some of the best like filmmaking.
And like the Continentals, like
just that whole world, it builds this very interesting kind of interconnected universe.
The high table, and like there's this
and I
system.
Think they kind of get
markers, the coins. Yeah,
I think throughout the series it gets a little bit more wacky in some ways, but I don't think they like hit you with it out. Like I feel like in the first one it's a little bit less
It's not there.
It's not even
They don't
that's
have
there
enough
like
time to really flesh it out.
But then also there's
really
it starts to kind of go like, oh, there's the markers and there's these things, and it kind of builds like I think the second one might have my most sad like when he kills the dude finally, and it's so satisfying.
I hated that villain. I just didn't like his character, but like
really?
everything else is really good. Like my favorite thing, dude, I can't wait to rewatch these movies at some point. But like the way he like ejects magazines in John Wick 2.
Gun fu, man.
Like he's just like the clip like flies.
It would be hilarious if in one he hit a dude with it, knocked him out.
Like in one he has his like assault rifle, and he's in the crypts after he killed that woman that he was assigned to kill, and he's holding the gun and just goes like launches the clip at the wall, and it like bounces off. Like it's just like, what the hell?
One of my favorite parts in that second. It's so good.
It's so like MGS too, because like the close quarters combat is like fucking impeccable.
One thing I don't love in those movies, and it's a very small. I've had someone point this out to me. I thought it was interesting. The gun flashes in that aren't very good. If you really kind of look at them, they look sort of fake. Again, it's a nitpick, but like I thought that was an interesting thing. But one of my favorite scenes in the second one is when he goes to sommelier and he's like, dessert, and the guy goes, dessert. Like the candor and just all of it is so good.
Right, like the gun porn, like
it's amazing.
It's great. And then like when he like reloads the shotgun and like he puts the stock up on his shoulder and he's it's like, this movie is incredible.
It's amazing. That like, truly is. Awesome. I don't know how you rated this. Like
it's so like, and I like stylized combat like that, and like it's very Metal Gear in the way of like he's fighting very close up and he's using a pistol and like he's reloading and like grappling people, and I'm like, this is like, yeah, what the fuck am I been doing?
What was your favorite one of the three?
2.
Really?
Yeah.
So mine goes as they were released.
I think one's my favorite. 2 is my favorite, but I like 1 the most, if that makes any sense.
Sure, I guess
because I really like the gunplay in that more than 1, but I like 1's story more.
You like the third one a lot too, though.
Yeah, I thought
it, the third one was there was. I feel like they probably could have cut out like 2 fight scenes in that,
because by the end they move a lot in that movie.
And by the end, that like glass house fight with the 3 guys, I was kind of a little bit checked out.
Yeah.
But no, I think my order would go as they came out. 1 is my favorite, 2 is my second favorite, 3 is my third favorite. But again, apparently we're getting like 3 more of those. He said he wants to keep making them.
Fucking
and honestly,
hype. Keanu is back.
If he made
Cyberpunk,
I like that. Right now, we kind of have to wait on it too. So if he like, I'm kind of fine with waiting a little while.
Yeah, and like
get
they lead up chapter 4. I'm like, this is interesting. Like I'm in it, man. 2 more things that I've been watching that I want to talk about, and then we can wrap up. We've been going a while.
Sounds good. Yeah, by 4:15, I kind of want you to.
Yeah, one is the Justice League animated series. So I'm finally at the end here. How
many seasons is that?
Justice League is 2. Justice League Unlimited is 3.
That's what I thought.
So I have 3 seasons of that TV left, and I'm done. And Justice League is not as good as what I thought. And you know what's ridiculous that I need to bring up? The Flash. Not Mike Rosenbaum's performance. Michael Rosenbaum is great.
It's Wally West in that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Wally. His powers, it's just like, I don't think they understand how to animate or how to display the Speed Force and his speed.
Well, and also I think in that, like, again, I think it comes down to a lot of things the Flash ran into, where he's not fast enough when he should clearly be fast enough.
Right, like he's running next to a car, and like this car is like almost as fast as him. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, it was like, and even in the Flash TV show, like it progressively kept going. At least I was like, you're not fast enough, Barry. I'm like, well, no, he should be fast enough. Can we get? He's fast. He's really fast. And no one should be. He's the Flash. That's his thing. He should be the fastest person out there.
Right.
But But whereas like in that first season with Reverse Flash, that does work because he's against a speedster who's much more aware of how to use his powers and things like that. But again, it's that thing of like, it's almost even like the thing you run into with Superman. How do you make him vulnerable? Like he's vulnerable. He can be shot.
Oh yeah,
but like he can't.
Is very vulnerable.
But I mean vulnerable. But yeah, that's true. But like if he's moving so fast that you can't see him all the time, which he should be, because why wouldn't you if you had those powers? You would never be able to do anything to him.
And it's funny. Superman like gets hit by stuff that like that shouldn't do anything.
Exactly. Well, and there are some different like I don't know. Different comic books have Superman at different like even in Man of Steel. Like I felt like he wasn't getting like badly injured, but like you could tell like armament and stuff like that had like it dazed him. It affected them a little bit. Like I didn't feel like the army in that movie at least was like completely
fucking him up.
Yeah, but like, or also completely outmatched, like in the way of like they couldn't do anything. Like they were hitting them with shit. Like I'm pretty sure they knock out Zod with like or they will knock out Fiora with like a tank missile or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. Again, it's those things when you really break them down, it's like, man, we got like, how do you make this work?
Yeah.
But yeah.
And like it's good. Justice League is definitely like villain of the week more so, and it's like they don't really take a lot of time to develop all of them.
Sure.
Whereas like the Batman animated series, New Batman Adventures, Batman Beyond are all, and Superman animated series are like very much developing these characters, and that's kind of the one thing with Justice League season 1 that I noticed is like, yeah, not a lot of that.
Yeah.
A lot of just like, villain of the week. Maybe there's some story progressing, but not a ton.
For the most part, it's just kind of that story of that week.
Apparently season 2 is much better, but I think we were talking about
Did you get to the War World episode yet?
Yes.
I love that episode. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah. And then the last thing was I'm almost done Agents of S.H.I.E.L.'s final season. And it's good. It's not bad. Like at all. That reaction may have like implied some things. It's good, but like I'm just so happy this show is ending.
Sure.
And I'm
How many seasons does that have?
I think this is 7. It ran a while. It was the first show that I watched that I started from season 1 and like I'm finishing. Like I watched that show live.
Like when it started. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
right. This is the first show I started when it started.
And then continued until the end. Yeah.
Right. And I'm not watching it live, but I didn't, But I'm excited to like finish this up. Kind of like, it's definitely not going to affect the MCU at all, but I'm just excited to see what happens at the end. I got 3 more episodes, so like I'm almost done. But it was like 13 episodes for the last season. They cut it short, which they always do with these season finales for those 20 episode seasons. They always cut it short, but which is fine. But because
listen, TV producers, stop making 22 episode shows.
Yeah, like Supergirl and Black Lightning are finishing this year on the CW, and I'm sure Supergirl is going to be like 12 or 13 or something. And same with Black Lightning. Black Lightning actually always is like 12.
How many seasons has that had?
4.
Okay, wow, that's actually been around a pretty solid chunk. I didn't
even
realize that.
It had a good run. Interesting show. Not bad. Black Lightning's pretty cool. Batwoman, on the other hand, I'm like, yeah, it's got like a season left.
Yeah, it's not going to hit the ratings.
Not
no, yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, but
and that's not even necessarily for me because they changed the. It's just like.
Yeah, Ruby
like because
Rose.
you can bring in an original character into a TV show, ergo Harley Quinn, and they take off. And obviously, the Batwoman character isn't new, but the actual person becoming Batwoman is. So I don't think it's necessarily.
It's always Kate Kane.
Yeah,
I think it's always.
Yeah,
I don't think it's anyone else.
And I don't know. Like I like the suit a lot, but that's all I really can say about that show. Truly.
But that's what I've been watching. I actually surprisingly I've been watching a lot lately, but I wasn't really doing anything during pandemic. I was watching
nothing during the old pandy.
Yeah, I mean we're still in it, but I guess like the brunt of it.
I hear what you mean.
Yeah, I didn't like. Yeah, I binged like 4 seasons of this show, and I was just watching like
same
DC animated shit.
It's funny. I don't really watch TV. Like really not. Like it's like unless it's something like a WandaVision or like something kind of Mandalorian. Like I rarely like I'll turn on YouTube now for the most part. I don't know.
I'm excited for Walking Dead to finish, too.
I've been excited for that to finish for years.
Endings of shows is so fun. Because everything kind of like culminates and it means a lot more than.
Sure, so I think sometimes it also can be a little unsatisfying
with Dexter?
With the end of a show. Well, like for example, yeah, or even like a Game of Thrones. Yeah, like I don't know. There's only been a few shows out there that I feel like people unanimously say stuck the landing for the most part, and it's a tough feat. I don't know. Anyways, Gooch. I think that about does it for us today. Thank you all so much for watching. If you've been with us live on Twitch, we very much appreciate it. You can find this podcast wherever podcasts are found. YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, all that good stuff. We are on all the social medias at Delco Nerds on everything. We have a Facebook page. Just search our name. You can email us, delconerds@gmail.com with topic ideas. You just want to let us know something, whatever, business inquiries. We're there. Easy way to reach us. All this information can be found on our website, delconerdnetwork.com.
And please, if you would like to join the community, you can join our Discord, which the link is also there and pretty much every place that Trio described. But the Discord is new, so I definitely want to pimp it out a little bit more.
Absolutely.
And right, this podcast was like, if you were in the Discord, you could ask these questions, and we kind of left it exclusive to that. And I think we're gonna do that a little bit more as we go. Like if we want to do things
maybe
like
during
this,
a certain topic or something,
do
we
it
get some
do it exclusively to the Discord. So that kind of join the community. Why not?
Yeah, it's a good time. Okay. For Gooch, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy, and we will see you next time.